talking to them. Yes, it's another Sunday afternoon here in South Florida. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Scoops. And today we have heavy hitters, Rudy Mills and Keith from Keith and Tex.
Keith and Tex, yes.
Why the people in hold on pan Tex at the border and said, you look like you go vote.
You know something? You say, and them kind of arms outside keep up all the while, but then again, it's a fair reasoning. It's a fair reasoning.
You're not going to America till after Tuesday. Your vote look like you're going to make a difference.
Why, man, tell you look hot at the morning. God. But again, welcome to Sunday Scoops. Everywhere you are, if you're joining us today, we have two of Rocksteady's greats, and I don't want to limit it to Rocksteady because these guys are the giants, of the music that cross the genres all over, and still out there, right? Touring,
and making good music too.
Make some money too.
Finally.
Finally. We want to use this show today to tell this part of the story. As you all know, Sunday Scoops is about recording the stories of the music from the perspectives of the people who made it. And today we have Keith and Rudy from Keith and Tex. And if you're familiar with the Derek Harriott catalog of music, and there's a whole heap of story involved there that we're going to talk about today, right?
Yeah, that was just a little tease. We'll get back into those songs later on. But those are two monster hits. John Jones by Rudy Mills, and of course Stop That Train by Keith and Tex, 1967, 1968 respectively.
Yeah. Here's what I'd love to kick this off, because guys, those two songs are anthems in Jamaican music, regardless of where you are, the period you're looking at the music from. And I would love you guys to set the stage, set provide that background for the listeners, viewers out there. What was the motivation at the time to penning those two songs, and the Toyo respectively have the different inputs. But what was the motivation at the time? And Rudy, you are the man. We missed you the last time, so we're gonna get started with you.
Especially with a song like John
Rudolph,
Jones.
Rudy, Mathianen Mills.
Mathianen. Is that the proper pronunciation?
Did I pronounce it right?
All that gone,
The people, that was Rudy Mills.
That was Rudy Mills now.
Rudy Mills.
There you go. Talk to us, Rudy.
Well, the inspiration of John Jones, I was coming from, I was living in Almontown, and I went to Franklin Town to look for a friend, and when I was coming back, I took a shortcut through Alpha Boys.
Alpha Boys School.
Alpha Boys School, yes. I took a shortcut through there to go into Woodford Park, and then Almontown. And I was walking through the grounds of Alpha. And I don't know, something just come to me, and I just belched out, John Jones, And then I said, what next I should say, And I just said, you son of a gun.
and the lyrics just come out of that, just like that.
Just like that,
Because John Jones is right up there in infamy with Tom, Dick, and Harry. So.
I was waiting for him to say it himself.
and then I start to write the rest of the lyrics, But at the time, I knew a guy named John Jones, but he was never in my mind when I belch out the name, And it so happened that the guy was living in Hermitage, and that's where most of my family was living. So they know that I know the guy. So when they hear the song, they think I was with the guy, woman.
Uh-oh.
But it wasn't anything like that. It was just it just come to me, and
Well,
that
in
was
those
it.
days, as God just pointed out, the John Jones moniker was exactly that. The John
Could
Jones,
be
the son of a
anybody.
gun, right? Anybody get that name there, and especially when that song bust, right?
Mm.
One no man call you John Jones, you know, say you're not in good company in a party because
Yeah, yeah,
John Jones is a bunner man, to use
yes.
the colloquial term. He's a bunner man.
It's a bono man.
Yes,
Yeah,
man. Bun you somebody like a bun. So, But the song became a massive,
yeah,
massive
yeah,
hit.
yeah.
Who sang on that record with you?
Um, I remember clearly. It was a Sunday evening. The rhythm was made and I voiced it on a Sunday evening, and Junior Mervin and Derek Harriet. You know, and yeah, they was a backing vocal.
Who were the musicians? Some of the musicians that you can remember.
Ox Brown,
Great,
a
great, great,
tall
great
a
musicians.
tall guy, play guitar too, because it's him and Ox Brown harmonize the intro, boom, 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 you know. And Jackie was bass player, and I don't remember who was playing piano, and no, it wasn't Glady. Wasn't Glady. I think it was Winston. Winston, right? Winston, right? Yeah,
Great.
I think it was Winston, right?
Where was it recorded?
Federal.
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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. Federal.
As we
What?
talk about the intro of the song, let us play the song from the very beginning because before I did just kind of mix that in. But that's also a thing that we stopped doing now in Richie.
Yeah.
Listening a song from the very
From the very
beginning to
beginning.
when the needle scrape across the
Yeah.
label. Yeah. Now, how did you guys start hanging out with each other? Because it seems as if, Rudy, you had preceded Keith and Tex for a little while.
Uh, no, Keith,
No, we were there
Keith
first.
too, and Tex was there before me,
Okay.
Yeah.
and it's when yeah, I met Keith and Tex in that stable, you know.
Yeah, I think we were the first acts that, outside of Derek Harrett himself, that started.
Yeah,
That
that
started
meant something big,
Yeah.
The
but
first tune you did,
Tonight.
Keith, was what?
Tonight.
Tonight. Yeah, man.
And that was yourself, yourself and Tex.
And Tex. Yeah, yeah.
Who else was on that show?
As players, singers were just Keith and Tex. Players were Lynn Tate, Hux Brown, Gladdy. The bass player from the Mighty Vikings played on that, I think. And
yeah,
Derek used to use guys from the band that he was the MC and singer from, the Mighty Vikings. So the
That
drummer,
band used to play up at what? Tit for Tat, I think it was. One of them clubs.
Sombrero Club.
Sombrero Club, right.
was the main.
Yeah, they played at Tit for Tat, I know that. And but I
Yeah.
think
But
Sombrero
they
would
were
have been the big
excellent,
one.
excellent band. So what he
Yeah.
would do, he would bring 2 or 3 guys from that band, plus Lynn Tate, Hux Brown, and Gladdy, to form his studio band.
I wanna talk about the role because Ox Brown's name comes up across this early period of the music significantly,
Yeah.
and Linted. But before that, may I ask God to touch that tune a little bit so we can again You know, because the music tells that story, and we want to keep the listeners in. God,
Lay back, yeah.
Tonight, that song, another big anthem again.
yes, this was if when you talk about anthems again, the Rocksteady era. You see, we get him in at the camera, boy. Me I tell you,
Yeah,
only want to,
nice,
and
nice.
the two want to dry it out, you know.
Nice.
The thing is, in the days of and Magic, by the way, the two of them, I don't know. I just pretend to know about music. Them two man, with sandwich between me. Yeah, two foremost DJ within the South Florida community. Well, Magic have reputation to all over the place, but
Yeah,
you know, and they will say it, that these are songs that anywhere you go, no
And
matter
put it
what
on.
kind of party, got
Yeah,
Magic.
man.
Yes, definitely.
Them songs still run the place the same way, which, in my opinion, is a testament to not just the quality of the music, but the greatness of the lyrics. You know, the longevity that it. That it
Ingenuity of the musicians.
Right.
From the opening round, you know, from the intro to the very last fade out.
See, a lot of them
Yeah.
I regard as feel good music.
Yes.
They come on
They'll
and
put
from
you in
the
that
first
place.
note, you're
Yeah,
just
man.
like, yes.
You
Absolutely.
know what?
Yeah.
When a child can sing the lyrics to your song,
Yeah.
you know you got.
And you don't have to cringe.
The ironic thing too is that, you know, and just specifically these two songs we just played, they spawned a whole heap of other versions because it was a time when the DJ thing was coming on, plus the rhythm track. You know, this song laid down the popularity, or it established the rhythm, and so other artists now came on and worked on this rhythm. But I want to touch Lynn Tate. Lynn Tate, again, like Hux Brown, two man who them name print on the music thing. Give the listeners a sense of the value of these you know, Lynn Tate in the first instance, and his contribution to the music.
I think in terms of Rocksteady, actually Linty it started in ska, but in terms of Rocksteady, which is what I know, the guitar picking, and the guitar and the bass picking together, Linty it started that. I mean, they stopped that train, the iconic sound of that guitar introduction.
Yes, that
I mean,
ching at the time.
When
Yeah.
we do it live, the moment you hear the guitar, the crowd explodes. You know, and they sing it all the way through, even the instrumental parts.
Who played the organ in that?
What was his name again from Vikings?
Um,
He moved to Canada.
Ike Bennett.
Ike Bennett.
Because
That's another name again that come up.
don't understate that, you know, that organ work. In fact, not taking anything away from you, Keith, but when you play just the rhythm track alone,
Yeah, man.
that literally sets you apart in terms that you realize here is a classic piece of music. And so if I was to be tasked to put together 20 classic Jamaican rhythms, this must depend, right? It is a quality. Hux Brown,
Yeah.
Hux Brown played on this as well.
Yeah. Let me just say one thing about Linty before we move on. I believe that I don't know how many accolades he had received, you know, while he was alive or posthumously, but you know, there should be some declaration of acknowledgement of Lynn Tate's contribution to the Rocksteady era, because, and gentlemen, don't forget now, most of the most memorable reggae songs is from the Rocksteady era.
Absolutely.
Most of the memorable rhythms come from the Rocksteady era. You know what I mean? And Lynn Tate
You're
was
right.
an integral part of that. And the man wasn't even a Jamaican.
Yeah.
Was from Trinidad.
Born, yeah, imported from San Fernando, Trinidad and Tobago. And you are absolutely
Yeah.
correct. He was never honored for his contribution to Jamaican music.
Yeah.
We are going to see to that, the change in that. That's our
Exactly.
job. We need to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And he went on to do, because he took the music not only Jamaica, but he came to Canada, if I remember.
He was
correctly.
living in Canada.
Living in Canada,
He was
right.
living in the same province, Quebec, Montreal, because I bumped into him a few times.
Yeah.
Seems Canada was one of the places that a lot of rocksteady and early reggae musicians went to. Leroy Sibbles spent a lot of time
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, he was in Toronto.
Jackie Me Too was there
Yeah.
too.
Johnny Osborne.
Johnny Osborne. Yeah, quite a lot of the guys.
You see, it just comes right back to, again, our little objective here with the Yaawd Media is to sort of chronicle the music and its development, and to put the stories out there about the people who have made this music. And a lot of people have fallen through the cracks. You have to be an aficionado, or you come on a program like this where you get to go behind the scenes, and we have these kind of discussions, because you are absolutely correct. Nearlin Tate, and Nearlin, and as God always pointed out, when he came to Jamaica, he said that Jamaican music was only one speed. It was ska, fast.
Go, everything
Right?
fast.
Everything fast. And
Some
go ahead,
boys,
God.
when it comes to calypso, you had fast kaiso, you have slow
Yeah,
kaiso.
slow calypso, true that.
So,
And so he slowed down the music. In fact, we were doing a program a couple weeks ago, and we were looking at the top songs over the last 60 years. And what's the song? Easy.
that Hopeton Lewis song,
Hopeton
Take
Lewis
It
song,
Easy.
Take it easy. Take your time. Right? And what I'm learning is that when Hopeton Lewis came into the studio with this song, he wanted to record it as a calypso song. And Tate said to
After
him,
multiple tries,
him
it
said,
failed
"Stop a
miserably.
little." Him said, listen to the song where I try to sing, right?
You can't say take it easy
Can't-
and I
yeah,
go
and I try
fast.
to go fast. And him say, give me an
Listen to the
opportunity here.
lyrics. Yeah.
And he changed the riff and slowed down the thing, and the music is a classic.
And it is credited to be one of the songs that was the transitional point between
From ska to
rocksteady,
rocksteady.
into reggae.
Yeah.
Rocksteady into reggae.
Right, which actually brought you guys in, with thing. But
Yes.
you spent your career begun with Derek Harriott, correct?
Yes.
What was the thinking? I mean, what was the music industry like at the time, and how did you you were seeing yourself
1966.
Yeah, 1966. You're seeing yourselves as recording artists. What was the feel like, and what was the opportunity and the potential at the time?
Go ahead, Rudy.
Yeah, well, I used to listen to a lot of our artists, covering R&B, and these artists like Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions, Four Tops,
Temptations.
Jerry Butler, and Carla Thomas, Drifters, So as time go by, I start to follow these artists up, and listen to them, and the music that was coming from them, the songs that was coming from them uplift me, and I start to write songs myself, and I listen to how the song was structured and things like that, and I try to pattern, from that, and It was it was good in the
So,
sense of
so basically, you're a self-taught songwriter.
yes, I
But
would say that.
when did you realize that you could sing?
Well, and at first when I was about 9, I wasn't singing, I was dancing.
It look like that's the route where everybody, a lot of you guys came through the
A lot,
dancing route.
yes.
Yes.
I was
Drop
shuffling
legs.
I was shuffling and snap fall and split
Oh,
and
yes,
all
sir.
of things. and my stepmother used to show me off, take me to the country and show me off, And after I start to grow up now, in Almontown, a lot of singers and musicians was living in Almontown, man like B.B. Seaton, Dobby Dobson, Jackie Opel, Carl Dawkins, Ori Sandy,
Oh, that's a guy we need to
Yeah, we need
cover.
to catch
Carl
up.
Dawkins.
Yeah.
a lot of entertainers, Even when I left Jamaica, entertainers was coming out there because Mr. Barnett, a man, used to make my caps, and when I came up to Canada, I hear him son is one of the biggest bass player, What's my name?
Barnett.
Something another Barnett.
Yeah, man, I know
he
he's
used to
really
play
talking,
with
yes.
Yellow Man,
Yes, yeah, man. It was what was the name of that band, God?
Don't remember.
Yellow Man back in,
Derek.
yeah,
It's
man.
Derek Barnett. Something like
Derek Barnett, him name. Derek Barnett. That's
Yeah,
correct.
Derek Barnett.
Yeah,
I
So
remember that band.
yeah. You remember the band, The Magic?
I trying to remember the
Yeah,
name
man.
of the band.
They could be Yellow Man, them back Yellow Man are holy. But I want to
Yeah.
come back to something you're talking about because you just mentioned Almontown. There's this misnomer out there that the music is trench town. I'm not taking anything from trench
And them
town.
left out the East. There's a East
Yeah.
one.
But
Yeah.
Almontown is central Kingston, right?
yeah. It's
Almontown is Central
is
Kingston.
right where I think it's at the east side of
Elliston
what we
Road.
call Race course, what they call now.
Yeah, man. You are right. Going into Campbelltown
Yeah.
and then you go over upon the South Camp Road to where
Yeah.
Alpha is.
Exactly.
But
And then
all
you
of that is Almontown.
Franklin Town.
You upon the other side of South Camp Road, you go into Franklin
the east
Town.
side. The east
Yeah.
side
Yeah,
of
right,
South
yeah.
Camp Road.
Right.
But Almontown is
Right
from
beside
up a camp
Campbelltown.
there, up at the top of where Doppy Gate is a camp.
Yeah. You go
Going
through
through
Woodford
Crossroad
Park.
and Woodford Park and come back down. That's
Yeah.
Almontown. And
Yes,
and
yeah.
It
because
involves Arnold Street and
Arnold Road,
Road.
where
Arnold
the
Road.
manufacturers,
Lannerman's.
right? But because Dan Drummond came from Almontown too. His parents
I think,
lived in
yeah.
Almontown, right?
Yes.
His parents lived in Almontown. In fact, it's because of
Brick.
the proximity to Alpha from Almontown. When him start to get him trouble, them carry him and go deposit him over Alpha Boys School.
No, we're up on a break.
And I think we're up on a break, guys. We're gonna just try to see if we can pay some bills and we come right back.
Right.
Yes, man.
Yeah, that was Standing In and Close to Me from that Tams album.
That
presenting.
Close to Me was another song that Keith and Tex took down to Derek.
Because that album, when we did the interview with Derek, I said to him, boy, it seemed like you had a love affair with the Tams, because when I play most of the songs, I realize is Tams cover versions, because that Tams group, boy, them bad,
The album was wicked. But I'm curious about the choice of songs from the album to redo speaks for itself. What I'm curious about is, the workings behind the scene. Because as you said before the break, one particular song where Harriet indicated that, boy, I like a song that I like, may you do it. Whereas you guys were planning to do that song, Keith and Tex, where you
Right.
probably at the top of the vocals and text come in at the back end as backup.
Right.
But Derek sung that song, as he did clearly and a few others, and
Yes.
there's no mention. I mean, I've been collecting music for a long time, and until we started to do this show and really start to hone in more, this was the first time I was aware that, you know, this was the situation, that, you know, you guys participated on the music, but there's no mention. There's
Yeah, the other song too was Walk the Streets of Night.
right,
Which
is not a
on the
classic.
Times album is You Might As Well Forgetting.
Right. Right.
Classics, and the renditions from the stables was equally, because they became local Jamaican classics in their own right. I think at the time too, the copyright thing had not. It was sort of open here in Jamaica, where we had the opportunity to do these songs without getting any copyright strike. Granted, at the back end it came back and bit us, right?
Right.
But we were able to do this. But
With
again,
impunity. Yeah.
the opportunities for you in terms of any enhancement to your own career, how did that go?
Well, as I mentioned, we never got any credit for it. So, you know, I was a fan of the Thames. So all those songs that you hear Derek sing from the Thames, they were selections that we wanted to do. You know, and so Rudy was asking me, how come I let him do all those songs? But, you know, as a 16-year-old, what are you going to say? You know, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I can imagine. So it's almost, I don't want to say that you were being taken advantage of, but then you were being taken advantage of.
Of course.
Yes, of course. We all were.
I mean, you know what? In retrospect, it's 2020 vision.
2020, yeah. Hindsight is 2020.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, you know, after the fact, you can see everything clearly. But when it was going on as a kid, you know, you didn't. You
What
didn't
was
look
your
at the rabbit.
motivation as a youngster? You said you're 16 years old. I remember talking to some of my friends who were in the business in that early 70s, well, middle 70s years.
Yeah.
They were just happy to hear themselves on a record, right?
And don't mention the girls.
Yeah, and it's gay opportunity for get hold of a girl and thing, but you need money for carry out woman, you know. and so
You're
singing a
absolutely-
nice pretty song and the, you know, the producer are give a suit where you can wear up on the show, but it's only for the show. You can't dress up in it and go nowhere else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
so what was the motivation then? I want to hear it from you guys.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rudy.
Well, the motivation was, you know, like you say, you know, you want to hear yourself, and you know, you want to hear yourself, and at the same time look nice, you know, for the girls them, you know, and Derek used to bring us stuff, you know. But
Yeah,
like
because
you
you traveled
said,
all the time to the States.
yes,
Miami,
yeah.
Miami,
Yeah.
And yeah, he used to bring us stuff, but like you said, you know, you can't wear it going away other than that show.
Other than performing, the suit there is
Yeah,
is a prop.
Yeah,
That's
you
it,
know,
that's it.
yeah.
Hi there. If you enjoyed that clip, go on over to our website at yardmedia.com, where you can watch the entire broadcast at your leisure. And while you're there, why don't you check out our other reggae music features? And before you leave, pick up some of our Jamaican reggae merchandise, and hey, don't forget to tell your friends.